So, as you can see, obviously I'm Rosie Blackburn. I work for Good Food on the Public Plate at Sustain, the Alliance for Better Food and Farming, which is a charity and not-for-profit NGO just based up the road here in Islington. So, we are an alliance, and we also have several projects under our very small roof. Some of the projects you may have heard of just very briefly, because that's not what we're here about to talk about, but include capital growth, which are trying to establish and are well on course to develop 2012 new growing sites for the benefit of the community by 2012, in line with the Olympics. And also you may well have heard of London Food Link, which is an informal network of caterers, restaurateurs, foodies basically, who are committed to increasing the availability of food to the private and to the private sector in the capital. Members of our alliance include the National Trust, the RSPB, and single-issue charities who are, for example, researching the links between additives and behaviour of children. We don't accept any funding from the food industry, which would compromise or appear to compromise the alliance's principles. So our aim on my project, Good Food on the Public Plate, is incredibly simple. It is to help the public sector buy and serve more sustainable food. And we do that in a number of practical, hands-on ways. However, we have finite funding. At the moment, we're funded until March 2011. We'd like another year's funding. We're in the process of trying to find that at the moment. But therefore, I'm very conscious that this afternoon, I want to give you a brief overview of what we're doing, and we want people to take on what we're doing and basically steal our ideas. It's not rocket science, it's easily replicable. So hopefully I'll be able to do that. As I say, I only have a brief amount of time this afternoon, so please come and grab me now and afterwards to find out more about what we're doing, but here goes. As I say, we originally began in 2004, and then we were working with 4 London hospitals. Over time and funding, things have changed, and now we're funded by the Greater London Authority, and we work, as I say, with the public sector in London, all elements of the public sector, hospitals, universities, local authorities, Transport for London, Met, London Fire and Brigade, the list goes on. This is our definition of sustainable food. It's not very pithy, I give you that. Unfortunately, there is no pithy description, but it's what we've come up with, and I think Paul Kelly earlier on mentioned that we needed a definition, and as I say, this is as close as we get. Basically, we could argue all night, all day, all month about what sustainable food is, but in the meantime, Rome is burning, so let's just get on with this. Let's say for certain that it's not just about being local. There's far more to it than that. So I won't insult your intelligence by reading this out to you, but you get the general gist that sustainable food is good for animals, it's good for human health, it's good for the environment, it's good for people in the supply chain. If your menu routinely incorporates all these principles, then you can say your food is sustainable. So the things that we do with the universities, hospitals, etc., that we work with, again, I won't bother reading the list to you, but we work both with individual institutions and with clusters who are linked either geographically or linked by sector in a number of ways. We work a lot with in-house caterers, and collaboration brings with it savings on both staff time and product. All the local authorities are either already signed up to or very keen to sign up for Food for Life. Are they still here today? They were here earlier. Which require them to buy and serve higher welfare meat. This tender, the one which we're writing with 8 London-based local authorities and LUCA, who represent 15 London-based universities, will help them maintain or facilitate that. Therefore, tenderers were asked to quote for no production standard, red tractor, freedom food and organic, and provide method statements describing how they access food from higher welfare production systems. The contract will be awarded early next year, we hope. In order to afford meat reared according to high welfare standards, creative menu planning is required. For example, using chicken thigh or leg on the bone. If appropriate, We also suggest using slightly smaller meat portions and making up the difference with fresh seasonal vegetables or pulses. We're also just starting work on developing a fresh fruit and vegetable tender led by a borough in East London. 4 other London boroughs are keen to join in, and we hope the contract will commence in the spring. This is a quote from Max, who's the head chef at Thamesbrook Care Home, which is a 56-bed care home run by Kensington and Chelsea Council, and they're just next door to the Royal Brompton Hospital. Previously, they bought their fresh produce from a supermarket, including their eggs, which, not their fault, but that was incredibly expensive and inefficient. Imperial and the Royal Brompton have put their responsibility as corporate citizens by working with the home, which has brought benefits to the staff and residents, and chickens, which they couldn't have afforded. The care home certainly couldn't have afforded free-range eggs before they started working with the Imperial and the Royal Brompton. The supplier, a farm in Kent, would never have considered delivering to such a small customer had they not been working with their larger neighbours. So by acquiring the additional custom, they too have benefited. Over the past year, we have devised and refined, with input from numerous institutions we've worked with, a template sustainable food policy. This is just a short extract from it. Lots of institutions we work with have snapped it up because it makes doing sustainable food straightforward. It provides focus and ensures consistency, progress and longevity. Once it's signed off, it's not dependent on individual champions to see it's implemented. All the institutions have to do is insert their deadlines and percentage targets. And we found that several institutions are keen to weave the policy into their catering contracts. And we're very, very happy to send copies out to anyone who's interested. But once you've written your policy, it's incredibly important that you don't just shove it in a drawer and forget about it. You need to communicate it to your customers. Communication is vital. Customers care about animal welfare and environmental issues, so it's a marketing opportunity lost if you don't tell them what you're doing. An IGD survey in September this year revealed that 3 out of 10 shoppers in Britain expect to be buying more products with higher animal welfare standards in the future, and 31% expect to buy more fair trade products in the future. 50% of eggs sold in supermarkets in this country are free range now, and that's because customers are demanding it, so it only makes sense that the public sector follow that trend. In Sustain's opinion, it's also vital that the public sector play a lead role in setting an example and educating the public, particularly young people. We're working with a number of institutions helping them deliver feel-good food days, where the host institution offers a menu rich in seasonal vegetables, fruit, beans and pulses, with less but better meat and dairy produce. The Royal Marsden, in tandem with the Royal Brompton Hospital, are holding such an event later this month and will offer free-range chicken, cooked on the bone to keep within budget, served with fresh seasonal vegetables grown in the southeast. Our project helps them to publicise the event internally by producing PDFs such as this. And this is an event that the LSE held earlier this year. As you see, the in-house team got thoroughly into it. We don't expect you to dress as a nun, but if you want to. Institutions with contract caterers can certainly hold such events, and would also encourage them to participate in a new initiative we're just starting at Sustain in conjunction with our various fishy friends called Sustainable Fish City. We want public institutions alongside private retailers and restaurants, indeed anywhere that sells fish, to sign up. There is no cost attached. All it requires is for the organisation to simply commit to not buy fish considered by the Marine Conservation Society, I should say, as being endangered, which are often expensive, and to promote fish that comes from demonstrably sustainable sources, which are often cheaper. Once a core is amassed, London can legitimately title itself the world's first sustainable fish city. Later this month, we are holding our second Good Food on the Public Plate Awards at City Hall. Chaired by Rosie Boycott, Chair of London Food Board, the awards are an opportunity to share good practice and celebrate the achievements of caterers and procurement teams who have worked hard to make changes to their food and to make it more sustainable.